Hi, this is Daniel again. I serve as a spokesperson for Nehemiah Reset. Today I wanted to continue to talk to you about a list of 45 communist goals that Congressman Albert S. Herlong Jr. of Florida read into the record on January 10th, 1963. In this video, we will cover the goals 21 to 45 of these goals. The list was derived from researcher Clean Skoussen's book, The Naked Communist. These principles are well worth revisiting today in order to gain insights into the thinking and strategies of much of the so-called liberal elite and should give you an idea of how much progress they have made today. The goals 21 to 45 are as follows. 21. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. 22. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all form of artistic expression. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substituting shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. 23. Control art critics and directors of art museums. Our plan is to promote ugliness, repulsive, meaningless art. 24. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by calling them censorship and a violation of free speech and free press. 25. Break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography and obscenity in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, and TV. This is the Gramscian agenda of the long march through the institutions spelled out explicitly. Gradual takeover of the means of communication, and then using those vehicles to debauch the culture and weaken the will of the individual to resist. 26. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy. Today, those few who still have the courage to advocate public morality are denounced and viciously attacked. Most Americans are entirely unwitting regarding the motives behind this agenda. 27. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch. This has been largely accomplished through the communist infiltration of the National Council of Churches, Conservative and Reform Judaism, and the Catholic seminaries. 28. Eliminate prayer or any phase of religious expression in the schools on the grounds that it violates the principle of separation of church and state. 29. Discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, a hindrance to cooperation between nations on a worldwide basis. 30. Discredit the American Founding Fathers. Present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for the common man. 31. Belittle all forms of American culture and discourage the teaching of American history on the ground that it was only a minor part of the big picture. Give more emphasis to Russian history since the communists took over. Obliterating the American past, with its antecedents and principles of freedom, liberty, and private ownership, is a major goal of the communists then and now. 32. Support any socialist movement to give centralized control over any part of the culture, education, social agencies, welfare programs, mental health clinics, etc. 33. Eliminate all laws or procedures which interfere with the operation of the communist apparatus. 34. Eliminate the House Committee on Un-American Activities. 35. Discredit and eventually dismantle the FBI. 36. Infiltrate and gain control of more unions. 37. Infiltrate and gain control of big business. 38. Transfer some of the powers of arrest from the police to social agencies. Treat all behavioral problems as psychiatric disorders which no one but psychiatrists can understand or treat. The Soviets used to send social misfits and those deemed politically incorrect to massive mental institutions called gulags. The Red Chinese call them Laogai. Hitler called them concentration camps. 39. Dominate the psychiatric profession and use mental health laws as a means of gaining coercive control over those who oppose communist goals. Psychiatry remains a bulwark of the communist agenda of fostering self-criticism and docility. 40. Discredit the family as an institution. Encourage promiscuity and easy divorce. Done. The sovereign family is the single most powerful obstacle to authoritarian control. 41. Emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents. Attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and retarding of children to suppressive influence of parents. Outcome-based education, values clarification, or whatever they're calling it this year. 42. Create the impression that violence and insurrection are legitimate aspects of the American tradition, that students and special interest groups should rise up and make a united force to solve economic, political, or social problems. This describes the dialectical fostering of group consciousness and conflict, which furthers the interests of authoritarianism. 43. Overthrow all colonial governments before native populations are ready for self-government. 44. Internationalize the Panama Canal. 45. Repeal the Connolly Reservation so the U.S. cannot prevent the World Court from seizing jurisdiction over domestic problems. Give the World Court jurisdiction over domestic problems. Give the World Court jurisdiction over nations and individuals alike. Thanks again for watching the second video on the 45 communist goals read into the Congressional Record in 1963. I hope by studying these goals you see how far the communists have come to taking over our country. If you haven't watched the first video on this subject, go to our website or our Rumble account to watch it. It is important to understand the communist plan as we see the liberal agenda rapidly taking over American culture. To learn more about this topic and other biblical worldview ideas, visit our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. Have a great day. My name is Mark. I am one of the spokespersons for Nehemiah Reset. The prior video was sponsored by Nehemiah Reset, a 501c3. Our mission is to assist Christians in developing a biblical worldview as it pertains to relevant cultural and biblical issues. We seek to inform Christ's followers, equip them, and mobilize them into action to vote for their biblical values and to actively engage in our culture. We are also committed to help Christians and non-believers to develop a better biblical view. Nehemiah Reset produces videos and ebooks to assist members of the church in developing a biblical worldview when it comes to cultural issues. We produce videos on key topics like public school indoctrination, the woke agenda, sex education, equity and inclusion, climate change, immigration, religious freedom, and much, much more. To learn more about Nehemiah Reset or to watch our latest videos, go to our website at nehemiahreset.org or our rumble.com channel. We produce 2 to 3 videos every week. To get a weekly list of our latest videos, sign up for our weekly newsletter by going to nehemiahreset.org/email and subscribe. You can support our website by liking our videos, subscribing to our channels, or helping us reach more people through tax-exempt donations. Thanks for your help in growing God's kingdom and bringing more people to Christ. Thank you for your support and help. Come back again soon. Have a great day.